Hey guys, welcome back to the Horror with your host with the most, Jenna, as always. So today we are going to be talking about the 1990 movie, The Exorcist 3. Now this one, of the sequels that we have for The Exorcist, don't even bother watching Heretic, at least in my opinion. Oh, dismal movie. But The Exorcist 3. Now I know it's gotten its fair share of criticisms over the years. A lot of people I know have said, "Oh, it doesn't feel like an exorcism movie. It really just, doesn't really seem to fit the franchise or anything." And you know what? Honestly, you're correct on that. You really are, because I'm sure quite a few of you know this by now, but I feel like people who say like, "Oh, it doesn't feel like an exorcist movie," don't realize that this actually wasn't meant to be Exorcist 3. This is actually based off of William Peter Blately's novel Legion, and then was being made into this movie. And I believe the studio, was it Morgan Creek, wanted it to have the Exorcist title in it. So, of course, the script and everything, they actually did I think they actually finished the movie, and then they were like, well, it has no exorcism moments in it. It's like, well, yeah, duh, because it's not an exorcist movie. So they actually ended up like adding scenes to it, adding a couple of characters actually. So it would kind of tie into the Exorcist franchise. But this is actually, this is actually a really good movie. It is very underrated. And I do feel like a lot of people don't give this movie a chance simply because of the fact that they might not know it's truly not an Exorcist movie. So if you're able to kind of rewatch it and just, go in it without thinking of it as an exorcism movie or an exorcism movie, an Exorcist movie, you will, I feel like, will enjoy it quite a bit. So some of the added scenes, most of them were added like the last part of the movie, like the last third of the movie, I believe. Like number one, the priest character that does the exorcism at the end, I believe that was added in, along with the Father Garris character from the first movie, because I guess, once again, the studio wanted someone from the first movie and everything to kind of tie together. I'm assuming probably Linda Blair was, at that point, like, I don't really want to do another Exorcist movie, which I really don't blame her. But he was added in, that character, God, what's his name? Jason Miller, who played the priest, Father Garris, Karras, sorry, I think I was calling him Garris. Father Karras, like, he plays Patient X in this movie, and he kind of, like, his character, because it was added in after the fact, and after pretty much all the shooting was already done, his character is definitely kind of like infused with the Brad Dourif's character, the Gemini killer. And that actually, I do kind of like that, even though it was added into it and everything. I do genuinely kind of like that aspect of the film, because I feel like it gives Brad Dourif's character, the Gemini killer, a little more substance, I feel, because I feel like you can see him, and they do kind of show this, of him going back and forth between Dorf's character and Miller's character. So I feel like, at least for me, that kind of satisfies it a little bit. I know some people might not like that. I respect that. I really, really do. But no, this is, even with like all of this sort of like changes and everything, and not using the Legion title, it's definitely a really, it's a pretty good movie. I really like it. There is a scene in here that that always kind of creeps me out a little bit. It's in the when they're in the hospital, the nurse is going around kind of like just checking everything, checking the rooms around. And I think it kind of gets me because it is kind of like I don't want to say like dragged out, but it's kind of like the scene, develops a little bit. And she goes to check like the last room or whatever. The cop is gone already, left already. And then as she comes out, I don't know how well you can see this, but like this nun character comes out with like that big like cutting instrument, and like the music and everything, because it is very similar to like the Exorcist music, like the original music. That just always kind of creeps me out. Even when I first saw this movie a number of years ago, like maybe 10 years ago, like that scene definitely stuck out for me in that movie. I think that was the scene that really kind of hooked me on this movie and wanting to see it again. But yeah, anyone else who's seen this movie, let me know if you're also kind of creeped out by that. And I think also is a big reason why I'm very like, I get very nervous around like a lot of like religious stuff and everything, like statues and everything, just because of that scene. And I'm like, but whatevs. But no, this, like I said, for what it is, considering it's not an Exorcist movie or anything, it's actually really good. And oh man. And like the main story in this, like it obviously tries to tie in a little bit of the first Exorcist movie for this movie. And I feel like a lot of times when studios do this, where it's like they want to try and milk some more money out of something and change the title and try and tie it into another franchise, it usually turns out horrible. Like one that really comes to mind is American Psycho 2, and it's like that literally had nothing to do with it. Added some stuff to it, a little bit of a backstory, some footage and stuff, and that's a perfect example of like a shit movie being even shittier, trying to be a part of something else. This one though, I feel like as much heat as it has gotten over the years, this one actually is pretty good. Even with the Exorcist title, it still has a little something. Like if you can kind of, like I said, sort of view this movie as a non-Exorcist movie, I think a lot more people would enjoy it, and it definitely has started getting a little bit of fan base. I think people are really starting to kind of notice this and be like, you know what? Yeah, the studio kind of flubbed up, tried to add more to it to tie it in with the Exorcist series, but you know what? It's not so terrible with what they added. I mean, in a weird way, it kind of works a little bit. It does. It would have been interesting to sort of see the original idea and everything and the original movie before they reshot this. And actually, this one, I believe this edition, yes, does have the director's cut, which I have not yet watched. I will, and if it is like significantly different, I will definitely do another review on this movie someday, just kind of discussing that. But for right now, we're just talking about the movie that we've had all these years. But yeah. And for those of you who didn't know, like, some of the information that I gave you guys, which, like, I'll be honest, like, I actually, after I watched this, because I did actually go to IMDb just to kind of see, because I was like, okay, I know that there's more to it, and I felt like I had read before, like, years ago, that this wasn't really supposed to be like an Exorcist movie, so I was trying to like get a little more info and stuff. And it is kind of interesting how much that the studio really tried to push this as an Exorcist movie, but whatever. But then again, I feel like maybe some people may not have really stumbled across this movie if it had not been for the Exorcist title, but what else? But yeah, no, this is actually, for those of you who may have not liked this movie for the longest time because, strictly on the title. You know what? Give it a second chance, and just, watch it for what it is. Basically, that's what you have to do. Just kind of watch it for what it is. I think everyone can kind of find little, like, things in here that, um, that you might like. Like, I quite honestly, I do like the bulk of the story. With the exception of them really trying to do like the Exorcist stuff, but like I said, it's tolerable. It does kind of work a little bit with the movie, so what else? What else? But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this movie. Whether you love it or hate it. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Huh? 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 I can tell you this much. This one does not blow pea soup like the second one does. So this one actually, I can keep my pea soup down in this one. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But yeah, yeah. Like I'll say I will give this one 7 cans of split pea soup out of 10 barfing Linda Blair's pea soup style. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think. Till next time, you guys. Stay creepy, classy, and a little bit sassy.